Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm back to talk about Legends of Tomorrow, episode 401, titled The Virgin Gary, which premiered Monday, October 22nd, 2018 on the CW. I'm recording about an hour after the episode is aired, so huge spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the episode already, please go do so first, then come back and see what I have to say about the episode. Otherwise, my other video reminders are up on screen. Take a moment to remind yourselves of those. So I'm going to try to do this in 15 minutes just because it's the premiere episode. So start the clock and let's begin with what happened in this episode. So timeline-wise, it is 5 months since the events of 318. That is 5 months since the epic battle with Mollis with the giant Bebo. During those 5 months, Legend team members are Sarah, Nathan, Ray, Mick, and Zari. It's only the 5 of them. And they did mention the fact that Wally's not on the team anymore because he decided to take his own little vacation and explore the world and find himself a little bit more. So there's that. So it seems like it's still trying to, I guess, line it up with the 5-month gap with the other shows, even though technically Legends ended a little earlier than Arrow or The Flash or Supergirl. Definitely before Supergirl, but she's on another Earth. So anyways, a huge episode reminder, though, is the fact that we see the last anachronism being captured, but we also see the first magical creature that's starting this new season's adventures. The killer or the villain, I guess you could say, is the killer unicorn during Woodstock. So there's that. So episode breakdown for the storylines, I picked up on 3 different ones. I guess you gotta say 2 main ones and then subplot ones for the third. But the first storyline being about the last anachronism, the second storyline being about the unicorn of Woodstock, and the third one being a sub-connection of the different personal storylines that we were seeing happening. So there's that. So with the first storyline, we see the last anachronism being, or featuring Paul Revere being in the time of when the Beatles had landed in the U.S. So we see that. We also got a celebration over the fact that that was the last anachronism and that the timeline has been restored in a sense. The Legends even got a party and some medals from the Time Bureau for it. So there's that. We also did find out that the main headquarters for the Time Bureau is in Washington, D.C. during 2018, which I found pretty surprising. But anyways, second storyline, with the unicorn in Woodstock is the fact that it is the killer unicorn that's causing the issues. Initially, it changed history because it caused this massacre there that ended up not starting the revolution it was meant to. So there's that. Because of the unicorn, the Legends recruited Constantine to help them get rid of this magical creature. He needed help collecting some ingredients they found throughout Woodstock, and he performed a spell that allowed for them to get rid of said unicorn by using Gary as bait. So there's that. So with the third storyline with personal connections, it's kind of 2 different ones. One with Nathan, we get to meet his family, Hank and Dorothy. And there's lots of tension between the father and son. For this one, Mick is actually tagging along for this. We also learned that Nathan's father has just been emotionally unavailable to him when growing up. So that's kind of the tension there. And then the second personal story, I guess you could say, is Ray wanting to find Nora Dark due to the fact that he felt this kind of spark with her when he gave her the time stone. And Zari's with him for this. And she's the only one that knows that Ray helped Nora escape Time Bureau custody. So there's that. Last moment of the episode shows this unknown supernatural force threatening Constantine and leaving him bloody message on the mirror saying, "I'm coming for you, Johnny." So there is that. Tidbits, though, moving from that, we do see progress with the Ava and Sarah relationship, Ava Lance, and that is that Ava asked Sarah to move in with her, which is in Washington, D.C. And Sarah does agree, initially, but then because of this whole magical creature thing, they kind of want to put it on the back burner, but they do agree to still continue seeing each other. So there's that. We do find out that Zari's family lived in D.C. in 2018. We actually see Zari's younger self at the park with her mom. And as you if you can remember Zari, this Zari that's a team member is from 2042. For some reason, I thought she was further in the future. So when she initially revealed that she did live in, not only was she alive in 2018, but the fact that she was living in the same city that they were in, that threw me because I thought she was further in the future. Based on that, I didn't realize that, or I guess I forgot that she was only just a few decades ahead, which means like a drastic change in history between now and then. So that's crazy. Anyways, also another tidbit is the fact that there are some things that have happened between Constantine and Gary, though Gary's still a virgin. So be that what you will. So there's that. Most shocking moment of the episode, let's move on from that, is the fact that Constantine denied Sarah's offer to join the Legends team. I mean, both sides made great arguments, but just the way he did it was surprising. In a sense, I think what I got from it was the fact that he'd rather kill himself than be teammates with the Legends. I think that's as harsh as he did it, just in his own colorful way. So I was surprised by that. But now with how the episode ended for him, I'm wondering if that's the reason why he would go back and team up with them. So anyways, we'll have to find about that later. But top 3 favorite moments, let's move on for that. The first one I did like is the argument between Sarah and Constantine, how Sarah was saying that friends and family is what makes them stronger, while he argues the fact that everyone he loves and cares for always gets hurt or they're always killed because of it, which is why he thinks of himself better as a lone wolf. What I love about this argument is that the fact that they're both stating these two sides, but also the fact that Sarah was once in Constantine's shoes. She always thought that it was better for her to be a lone wolf, and now that she's on the other side, I love that she brought up it's kind of like the grass is greener on the other side. She's on the other side, so it's like kind of try to tell Constantine like it's better to continue forward, to build connections and stuff like that. It's just like, it's really great. Plus it also, this argument just really showed how far Sarah has come when it comes to regarding friends, families, close distance versus keeping them at arm's length. Because if you remember Sarah from season 2 of Arrow, she has come a very long way. About 5 years ago, roughly. So it's like, yeah, right? So I'm very happy for Sarah about that. But another favorite I had in this episode was the whole ritual used to get rid of the unicorn. I just like that we got to see a version of magic once again in this capacity. I mean, every time Constantine comes into play, we always see some type of magic. It was just great to see this interpretation because now it's something that truly has to be established in the Arrowverse. So that was fun to see. It got very dark and a little weird at times, but it was still cool. Poor Gary, though, but I'll get to that later. Another favorite of mine has to be the dynamic in the moments between Nathan and Mick, specifically when they're trying to break into this big house and like Mick wants to go for the aggressive route and Nathan is going for like be smarter type thing, look for the hideaway key, try to find a house that actually has something worth stealing. It turns out it's his own parents' house, but like still the whole dynamic and how like Mick was like going along with it. And then like when Mick met his parents and was offered sandwiches and he was just like his attitude just shifted and it was funny. Mick is always funny to see how he reacts to things, and it's just great to see him interacting with Nathan. And then also when they both had hallucinated confessions towards each other and then ended up hugging each other during those confessions was funny. So there's that. I just miss these characters for sure. But anyways, another favorite I did have was the moments we got to see of Ava and Sarah being in a relationship together, just seeing them progressing with each other and just wanting the same things, wanting to have this work between them and moving towards the next step for them. I really like it. It's just great to see both of them happy. So I'm a fan for that. Also, a little bonus favorite I just remembered was that scene when all the Legends members were in Woodstock and first Ray and Zari were there, and then Sarah joins in, and then Nathan joins in, and then when they're all finally in the same place in Woodstock, they all give each other high fives when they're like, as they're greeting. Nathan and Ray do that whole chest bump thing, and then they do their respective high fives towards Zari and Sarah when they come joining in. It was just like, it was a very good team dynamic type of welcome. And it's just like, oh, okay. It's like, don't know what Mick would have done, but he was off waltzing on his own. So I really thought that was funny. I mean, like, for this, it works for the Legends team. So I'll leave it at that. Moving on, though, to top 3 peeved moments. One peeve, it was very hard to find something wrong with this episode. But once I thought about it, I did think of 2. First one being the delayed rescue of Gary against the unicorn. Poor Gary had the unicorn chomping at his arm, and while the unicorn was being pulled away, and like Gary's trying to pull, and then what bugged me was the fact that Sarah, Ray, and Zari, they were taking their sweet time before they moved to go help Gary be pulled away from the unicorn. They had to wait until like the unicorn was almost pulled into the wheel or into the wormhole, and Gary risking going in as well. Did they then start to move to rescue Gary? It's like, no. Once that unicorn got chopped, started biting on Gary's arm, you rushed to go help him. And then what also bugged me was the fact that why would you pull on Gary? If anything, why don't you attack the unicorn that was chomping on his arm? Do something to, like, at least in the very end, Sarah threw her knife, which had the unicorn open up and release Gary. But it's like, why didn't you do that sooner? Why didn't you aim for that sooner before just pulling on Gary and having it be a tug of war thing? So that was a peeve right there. It's just like, I didn't understand why that was delayed as it was. I mean, I was worried that Gary was going to get sacrificed. I mean, like, Gary's just a fun character. He's now an interim legend, so it's like, he needs to go on more of these little ventures too, right? Just not be the bait. He's a fun character. But anyways, there's that. Another peeve that I had was just the tension and also the disrespect that Nathan got from his father. I mean, like, he was putting down what Nathan loved to do. He was putting down his interests, and it's just like, he was very combative, and I felt so bad for Nathan. It's like, this is a guy who has put his heart and soul in learning about history, trying to restore it, and he can't tell his parents, like, I've saved time, I've saved the world through my missions to restore the timeline. He can't do any of that, and he's like a silent hero in that fact, and yet he can't defend his name technically. It sucked, and I just felt so bad for Nathan when he had to be in those scenes with his dad, because like, he shouldn't have to be with that. He's a valued member of the team. He contributes so much to the Legends, and it's just like, to not have your family recognize that, or to even acknowledge your own passions, it sucks. So it was hard to see Nathan go through that. So that was a peeve there. But moving on to what moment will I remember most when I look back on this episode? Killer unicorn. I mean, the fact that the unicorn still looks like he had a rainbow shooting out of its butt. Don't know if that's what people thought your stereotypical unicorn was like, but it's still reminding me of episode 714 of Supernatural, who also had a killer unicorn. What was it, 5 years ago? Yeah, it was 5-6 years ago. Nope, 7 years ago, actually. They had a killer unicorn who killed with its horn. So there's that. So I'm going to remember that unicorn for that. But random questions very quickly based off the... Oh, I'm skipping over. Random questions. First one being, could the thing that attacked Constantine at the very end of the episode, could that be our major villain for this season? So there's that. Second question being, how was Zari showing Ray her family in 2018 meant to help Ray when they were discussing his connection to Nora Dark? I mean, don't get me wrong, I like that we got that part about about Zari's family, but I just don't like the transition of how it's like we were talking about Ray and his confusion about Nora and how he wants to find her to explore the spark between them, how they were talking about that, and how all of a sudden Zari just takes Ray away to go show him her family in 2018 and her younger self. Moving on to predictions, though, very quickly, based off the promo for 402, it shows that a fairy godmother or a fairy godmother type creature is the monster that is terrorizing Salem during the witch trials. Hey, Mick was just hilarious in the promo, so I'll leave it at that. You got to go see that just to get that vibe to it. But the synopsis for 402 reads that when the magical time seismograph goes off, the team finds themselves headed to the Salem witch trials. Sarah notices that Zari is taking this case personally when she promises to save a mom who is being accused of being a witch. However, the team quickly learns that there is a magical creature in the town creating problems that they hadn't been expecting. Meanwhile, Nate and Ava work together to try to keep the Time Bureau funding by proving to them that magic exists. So that's interesting. I guess the thing with Zari's mom in this episode maybe was meant to set up what the connection is in the next episode that it's kind of referencing to in the synopsis here. So I guess we'll have to see where that unfolds for itself. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see Nate working with Ava, just the two of them. If anything, I was kind of expecting Ava and Constantine to be the way to prove magic was real. But Nate will be interesting too, though. But yeah, that's pretty much all my predictions for that. Quick news, though, guys. Just due to timing and me trying to get more balance in between my personal life, my work life, and this channel, I'm not going to do all episodes. If anything, the plan for the 2018 episodes would be that the next video would be kind of like a highlights recap of episodes 2 to 8, and then you'll get a separate video for episode 9. Even though, just because it's meant to be not only the mid-season finale, roughly, if the timing's correct, but it would just also tie up with the fact that even though it's not part of the crossover event, it is episode 9 for all other 3 shows. So I'm just going to keep it even like that. So, yeah. But what did you guys think of the episode? What did you guys like about it? What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, theories, and opinions about what you think will happen this season. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, check out my other videos if you've done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I read blog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all that good stuff, all found in one place. Go check it out. At the moment, I'm just trying to keep up with the promos, web clips, and synopses that are being released. Eventually, I'll get caught up on updating the whole GIFs and drawings and posts that I find throughout my dashboard. So everything would be together, though, so just keep that in mind. If you want a detailed, or if you want, check out my WordPress account. The link for that is down below. Everything I post online is connected to that. It's a little more organized. It's a little more detailed, but it's still a work in progress. So please keep that in mind. And I think that is everything. So thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope you come back to see my highlights video later on in the next couple weeks. Or check out my other videos that I've posted for any other show that you're interested in. But until then, guys, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week wherever you are. Bye for now.